That's not that.
That's the
delayed.
preview. And
Okay, yeah.
we're live. We are live. We're live right now.
We're live now?
We're live now. It's delayed, so you're not going to see it right now, but in a couple seconds you're going to see us.
So they can hear us.
They can hear us.
Or are they going into your beats mode?
There we go.
That's it.
It's going to be a little delayed.
Oh, my hands. Oh, wait. Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's always going to be a slight delay because of the internet.
It's like being one of these horror films where you're looking in the mirror and
Chris, you're going to have to
Stuff ain't
field
right.
the questions because I can't see.
Yeah, I got you.
I have bad enough eyesight as it is.
I'll just kind of hang out over here.
Can I leave my coffee here?
No, get it out. Get it out now.
All the beverages off the table.
Guys, just want to do a check and make sure you can hear us okay. Just let us know if you got a good sound on us, good sound quality.
We're using external light today, so.
God. Yeah, one more we can recreate the Last Supper. Come on, keep going. Come on.
Not sure how bad the delay is, but we'll figure it out.
No, I'm making. Okay. Yeah. Oh, what am I doing?
Sounds good. Thank you, Marissa.
Cool. Thank you, Marissa. So, real quick,
We are
before we get started, I want to shout out to Marissa for repping us out in.
She was at the premiere.
She was at the premiere and she was at the extra.
Yep, Marissa was at the extra TV filming and
The premiere out in
Los
Angeles.
Ah,
okay. Marissa made it out there. She was repping our Beast Mode NY shirt right in front of Norman Reedus. Norman literally walked in front of her as he was doing autographs.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Marissa. We appreciate that. What's up, everybody? So let me introduce you guys to Dan, Mr. Daniel Brown. He is the owner of the Warehouse. And he's here tonight. He's a very, very interesting person. You guys are going to love it. Any questions you guys want, we're going to just start rolling with the premiere from the show. And we'll take it from there. Tiff, you better stop with the porch light stuff.
Leave the porch light on.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke.
Because we actually started.
Six thing.
I shared your menu. I shared your menu last night.
Okay.
With a bunch of our followers. So immediately they're like, oh, well, I want this and this and this, and I expect it for the show. And obviously they live in Chicago, London,
Really?
yeah. So all these,
Netherlands.
Oh, someone said hi, Dan.
yeah,
Rescue Mom.
yeah. Rescue Mom's my sister.
Oh.
Yep.
Good. So I was going to make any kind of snide remarks like, oh, God. No.
No, it's okay. You can make it any. You have this is going to be roughly 98% women.
Really?
Yeah.
I finally have a fan base.
What up, Lucy? So we got London.
Keep an eye out for Lucy, though, because she's highly inappropriate.
Yeah, Lucy's very inappropriate. Oscar, we were just talking about you, bro. What's up in Sonoya, Georgia,
Oh,
man?
that's the artist guy.
Yeah,
that's Oscar,
that's our artist guy.
So he's in Sonoya now. Did he go on the Walker Stalker tour with the girls down there?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Did you?
Yeah,
a couple
pretty
of
sure
girls
he did.
down there, friends of mine, that when I went down to Atlanta to Walker Stalker Con last year,
Yep.
there are 4 ladies down there. Vicky, Jamie, January, and Teresa. But Vicky and January, they organized which is called the Walker Stalker Tour.
Okay.
And you meet in Sonoya, and they bring you to all the sets where they film it. As a matter of fact, in Sonoya, interestingly enough, the town of Woodbury,
Yeah.
you're in Woodbury. Yep. You cross over some railroad tracks. Those are the railroad tracks you saw Tyrese on in some of the episodes of the Twins. And across the street, on the other side of the tracks, is Alexandria. And then around the corner are the pudding house from Carl
Yep.
when he ate the pudding
Oh,
and
yeah,
a few other
yeah.
houses. So everything other than downtown Atlanta is probably within about a 20-mile radius. And they go on a little driving tour. They jump in the cars. They drive around. You see all the different sets, and every year the girls come out. And I went down there. They were great Southern Belles and hostesses, and
I
so
think
forth.
Oscar said earlier today that he was trying to go on a tour, but I don't think there was any running today.
There's one. Yeah, what you got to do is I could send him someone on Facebook. There's probably a tour tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
It's not one of the tour buses.
Right.
These are the Walker Stalker Con. Where it got that name from? I don't know if you know this. Walker Stalker Con is back when they were first doing the season in the Woodbury days.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of it might have been before that. There were people that were in that area, maybe 24 guys and gals that were hanging through Sonoya, and all of a sudden say, "Can you move aside? We're filming a show." No idea. So they used to go on set all the time. and they got to meet everybody and know everybody. As a matter of fact, one of the girls actually, when Norman goes to all the walks to cons, he asked to have her be his handler, take care of him like this.
Okay.
And the two guys that started the Walker Stalker podcast and also started the Walker Stalker Con used to go, and they coined the phrase because all these fans were coming to see The Walking Dead, and they would kind of not stalk them. They say, "You guys are Walker Stalkers," and that's how the Walker Stalker came about. But that's how it all boils down there. But anyhow, yes, there is a. I'll send him some info.
So Oscar, there you go. We might have you some intel, inside stuff for you coming. All right, so let's talk about this past weekend. And what did you see happening in this episode?
Well, that's something that I discussed earlier. I don't want to give any spoilers away.
It's okay.
But people are concerned. I'm one of these. There's two different types of people in the three different types of people in the Walking Dead universe. There are people that read only the comics and don't watch the show. There are people who watch the show, don't read the comics. And then you have these occasional mutants like myself that do both. And so I kind of like the way the Walking Dead goes because it does change things up a bit. But I just want to let you know that if anybody's been watching this thing with Rick with a long beard, in the storyline in the comic, that is a real sequence. What happened is after the war with Negan, the timeline will jump ahead 2 or 3 years.
Not to interject, but Negan is not killed in the comics.
Negan is not killed.
He's in prison in the cell that Morgan made in the show.
Negan, in fact, the best way to compare Negan and Rick is Batman and Joker, Clarice and Hannibal Lecter, but mostly Batman and Joker. They're very similar in their own ways. And actually, in the TV show, Rick is far more brutal in the show. Oh, God. Yes. I mean, in all honesty, when you think about it.
Yeah, you're right. Because in the comic, he's really not so bludgeoning.
No, well, he has a simple. If you really look at the psychology of Negan is a guy that keeps order. Yeah, his rewards is he takes everybody's women. He has a big screen TV. Mm-hmm. He metes out justice, but he keeps organization and structure in his place. Yeah. The thing about it is in the comic, very much in the TV show, when Daryl, who, mind you, Daryl doesn't exist in the comic book universe, when Daryl blew up a bunch of his motorcyclists with the rocket launcher, hey, there's a similar situation like that in the comic. Okay. And that's it. They kill about 6 people. The whole scene where Rick goes into the radar station and bludgeons like 21 people in their sleep. When you think about it, Negan, by all rights and measures, the show would be canceled. He would have probably killed all of them as he got them in front of the RV. Right. But he said he needed them to work for him. Yeah. So he actually let Rick off. Rick's a lot more brutal. And actually, in the big scheme of things, he's the bad guy compared to Negan.
And I feel like in his own perspective, he sees himself as the good guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he sees, what I'll call it the Alliance, meaning, Hilltop, Alexandria, the Kingdom. He sees them as the bad guys. Yes. They want to take everything that he has built and destroy it.
And the only way to do it is to control them. Correct. By extorting them.
By
whatever
fear,
they do.
Extortion,
exactly.
However.
But everybody in their own right in The Walking Dead think they're the good guys. And that's what drew me to the comic book many years ago. And somebody said, the comic book called The Walking Dead. I went, okay. Well, it's really not about the zombies. It's about the people. Yes. And in reality, it is. Just like when you watch Mad Max. Yep. It's not about, the shortage of gasoline and a bunch of dingoes running around. It's about the humans that are out there to unsert people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really like about it, is that they are the people and the interaction and the characters themselves.
You know what I like about The Walking Dead also? Is that you don't see it often where you have someone who is very close to the source material that is also a huge part of the production of the TV show. Mm-hmm. But here you have Robert Kirkman, who is in the thick of both the comics and the TV show. Yeah. And having that connection, I think, is so important.
Oh, and they give him, and I think Robert Kirkman, let's face it, to meet the guy who's a jovial fellow, he's a guy that basically, he just loves comics, and he drew a comic. And I think he's to this point right now, it's very much with Stephen King, when they make movies out of Stephen King's books. They say, what do you think that they did to your book? Because they look the same to me on the shelf. But I think Robert Kirkman is involved to an extent. But I think he's also like, hey, As long as we don't stray too much off the track, fine. Just give it a check. It's going great, and whatever I do. And I think, but he is involved. I think he does have a lot of regret. He had one regret about the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in the first season, which he regrets doing, or letting him do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back. We're getting back to the first season.
Real quick, Steph, thank you for tuning in. Sorry you're not feeling well. Please feel better.
Yep, absolutely, Steph.
Take care. We have some questions coming in for you. Let me see. No, good. Yeah. Gene wants to know, Dan, who's your favorite from the show?
Who is my favorite from the show? As far as the characters themselves.
Yeah.
I would have to go. It's going to be a tough call. God, that is a tough one. Because there's a lot. I'd probably have to go with Glenn. I like Glenn because Glenn was the moral compass on the show. Glenn never strayed from what he was, and he was actually the glue that held together. I like Daryl, and I like Merle, but that's another story.
Merle was one of my favorites too.
But I like Glenn. I liked Glenn, and I think Andrew Lincoln does a great job as Rick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that he really, as we were discussing earlier, he seems to capture this Gary Cooper and High Noon type of thing. This I'm a police officer,
right,
and I'm here to protect myself.
So I have to truly say though, there's not a single actor or actress on that show that I do not think does a fabulous job. Like I think they all
It's an ensemble cast. They work off each other very well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And following them on social media, you see that interaction between them.
Mm-hmm.
What up, Oscar? All right, so people want to know, were you disappointed with the premiere? What'd you think?
This year?
Yeah, in general.
No, not at all. I thought that this premiere this year, don't get me wrong, I think the show has fallen off sometimes. This premiere this year, I think it's one of their stronger openings on a season. I like the way they're handling it. As I said, this whole maybe a flashback, how they're unfolding the war.
Well, yeah, what's your idea now on Old Man Rick and that whole situation?
Well, Old Man Rick, if anybody reads the comics, the scene with Old Man Rick in his bed getting up, and there's Michonne, and you don't really see Carl, and then you see Judith come in, who's actually much older, and he goes outside, and there's one point, we're ready for that fall festival. In the comic book, after the war with Negan, the story will jump about 2-3 years. And that's how it starts out. Alexandria, the Hilltop, the Kingdom are all working together. They're actually traveling out to middle groups, so it's kind of settled down. So my theory is that I believe that whole scene with Rick and the Beard, this whole season is a flashback. He's thinking back or reminiscing to the war.
So now you're thinking that after, and this is my speculation, I don't see them ending the all-out war by the end of season 8. I think that this is going to go into season 9. Because I feel like to do it justice, they would have to do it at least a season and a half, 2 seasons.
You want them to spend more than, 16 episodes on it? Because it's 8 and 8. They want to spend 16 episodes on it, one more?
Yeah, the all-out war was a 15-book arc. Whereas Herschel's Farm, I can see if it does, it's either going to end at the 8th episode, mid-season, or it will go to the 15th and the war will end, and you don't know really what's going to happen, particularly with some particular characters.
My most solid theory is it's going to be a mid-season finale. I feel like a full season.
I think it's too much.
Still wouldn't do it justice though. I don't know, because this is probably the single biggest conflict in the comics.
Everything you've heard from all the actors is it's going to happen quick. It's going to happen quick. Now, if Dan's theory is right, where this is all a flashback for Rick, that's why you see him in the bed waking up, and you see these flashbacks throughout the episode. You see the community working, and vegetables and everybody working, and things growing and prospering. If we're basically going to watch this war take out and play through his memories, basically, as flashbacks, what, you're going to drag that out for a season?
Unless they're going to intermingle. It's going to be kind of weird, like I said. I say he's waking up in the bed, and somewhere in the episode it goes into another flashback.
Right.
And then he gets out of the bed.
So you think that they're going to do these flashbacks?
So they might do these flashbacks through an entire season, then you finally realize it is. They might do that as well. Because there is a whole other story arc that will play out after Negan War is over.
See, that begs the question. Because after the all-out war, like you said, there's 2 or 3 years of just solid peace and calmness, and the Hilltop, Alexandria, the Kingdom. They're going out there. They're getting other groups. They're bringing them into the alliance, and they're working with them, trading with them. But how long is that peace going to last?
Oh yeah, well something
You know what I mean?
something happens and they're gonna encounter a new foe, not as colorful.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah. And
The part with the graves. See, now, I'm not on board with everybody where they think that he's standing over new graves. I think those are the old graves of Glenn and Abraham.
Glenn and Abraham, I believe so too.
I've looked at camera angles, and they don't look like they're new graves. There's a theory out there that he's crying and he's over those graves because they're new people that he lost.
These are two people that are going to die this season. But
I think they would show more than two graves. I think they would show a graveyard.
And
Kind of like how
and not only
Gabriel
that,
had those extra
if
graves.
you look at stills from that episode, those graves don't look fresh.
Yeah,
well, the
They look
thing,
like
the thing is, once again, not to be the fly in the ointment, but
that's okay.
the body count in the All-Out War is not as big as you've seen. No, it's
Oh,
for
really?
the main character.
No,
Many
right.
of them actually meet their demise afterwards.
Right.
So it's
some
more like
Whisperers.
support characters.
some support characters, a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, many of them survive. Not saying not anybody's getting unscathed, but many of them survive. But it's because remember, all those graves also include what's her name? They include Abraham, they include Glenn, they include everybody that was from Alexandria. They include a number of people that died subsequently to that point.
Hercules, what's up, man? Thanks for making it.
This is our friend of ours from Twitter,
Yeah, Hercules.
Ryan.
His name's Ryan.
Yep.
His Twitter handle is Hercules Handy. He's a great gift guy. Loves to do like all these. He does the countdowns for everybody when the season ends.
Okay.
He does
He
a lot of
posts
cool stuff.
hilarious memes.
Yeah,
Really?
really fun stuff. But this is his first time
First
tuning
time
in.
tuning in.
Now, how many people are on?
Currently, we have 12 watching. Currently,
That's okay. That's nice. That's all. We made the last supper. No, that's 13. But no, it's what was I going to say? Well, we were talking about the grave.
The body count.
Yeah, the body count. I mean, the whole story with Dwight
Yeah.
plays out as it's been playing out.
Now, not to interject, but really quick, my most solid theory with the way the season premiere ended with Father Gabriel.
they were
in
just
the tra-
talking about
in
that.
the trailer with Negan. I think Dwight is going to do something, and he's going to expose himself as this kind of double agent that he has.
I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell you something. Going back to the comics.
Yep.
You've seen Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes.
If you remember in the second season of Fear the Walking Dead, there's at one point the fellow that's on the radio with the daughter. They
Yes.
go to this town and says, "You have to return my brother to me."
Yep.
And they come out with a guy with a hood on his head,
Okay.
and they take the hood off, and he's been turned.
Yes.
Well, that is something which is kind of strange in the world of Fear the Walking Dead and the Walking Dead TV show. That episode right there, where it's somebody bringing somebody forward and pulling off their head and they're turned.
'Cause-
Okay, that is from the Walking Dead comic.
Right.
And they fused that in the Fear the Walking Dead. In the comic, it was actually some girl that went into Negan's place undercover,
Yeah.
came out, and that's how Dr. Denise got her device.
Yes.
They opened the hop thing at and you think bitter. For some reason, I have this really sad feeling about it, is that I hope to God that they don't do it, they'll probably go. Because that's when Negan says, this is time to shift your pants.
Right.
And maybe he'll return. I'm going to return. Father gave you in good terms. I don't know. It just has a gut feeling. I may be wrong.
So you think that Negan is going to try to use him as some kind of bargaining chip,
And then bring him
And
back
then
when he's been bitter.
and he's going to be already bid,
Yeah,
or
and
he's going to
that's-
be already turned?
Yeah, and that's a character. That's the thing that happened in the comic in
Yeah.
the All-Out War
Right.
when they had a spy. But no, I like how it played out.
Okay.
I really did. I was satisfied. Maybe excited to watch the second episode, the third episode, and so on, and see how that plays out.
Absolutely.
Still not happy about the lady with the bangs. And that was the shaved head who talks in kind of like the lost language of the cranes, the garbage dump people.
Oh,
that
you're
have
talking
like
about,
the silent,
the heapsters?
that have the Silent Hill zombie
Yeah,
in there with the
What's
spikes.
Pollyanna's name?
Janus.
Janus, thank you.
Yeah.
Janus.
Yeah, I wasn't too. That was kind of weird, but I have a funny feeling where she's going. She's weird enough that she could end up being his next big enemy in the storyline of the comic.
You don't think the Whisperers are coming after the war like they do in the
I have a funny
comics?
feeling she's going to be out.
Really?
Well, the Whisperers happened after that 3-year arc,
Yeah.
and as a matter of fact, during I'm not. That's not.
So wait. Let me. You don't think that the Speedsters will be involved in season 8 at all with the All Out War?
They will be. If not, no, they'll be involved.
but not.
But I believe that Alpha.
Will be Jadis.
Well, Jadis will be Alpha in the movie.
Really?
I've just had. She's nutty enough.
I mean, a lot could
Think
happen
about
in
it.
2 or 3 years.
She looks a little crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and
See, because I know in the comics, Jadis is a very more ruthless than Negan.
Yeah.
Like Jadis is pure evil.
That's
they
Alpha.
make
Oh no,
I'm sorry, Alpha. Alpha is
Alpha.
pure evil
Yeah.
in the comic. You think that Jadis is capable of being that person? You think this might be a
Like I
Well,
said,
she's one that threw Rick into the
Yeah.
pile with the Ginsu knife zombie,
Yeah.
and then
Wilson, yeah.
she switched over
right.
to Negan in a heartbeat
For
for
bargaining
trading
chips.
Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Not
she's
only
a survivalist.
But not only that, but think about the fact that a lot could happen in 2 or 3 years. You know, she could piss off Negan and her entire group of people are killed.
They may leave
which can
also.
make her snap.
Yeah.
You know, they can leave her, which can make her snap. You know, a lot can happen
And
in a
then
single
Simon
person,
can
especially in a
become Beta.
post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
But no, it's a satisfying episode.
Absolutely. I think all around just a beautifully crafted episode.
See?
Same thing with season 7, episode 1. I think that was beautifully executed, and I think they stepped it up, which I didn't think was possible, but I think they
You're
stepped it
talking
up
about with
in season
the
8.
clubbing of
Of
Glenn
Glenn
and
Abraham.
Abraham. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think and the funny thing, people got
And that got bitched at because it was too gory.
yeah, and
And
something.
turn the fucking show off.
Well, on top of that, though, that's how it played out in the comic.
Yeah.
I mean, there literally is a scene where he puts up with his head and his eye hanging out, and so forth.
But
Now,
these
Abraham,
are
of course,
people who bitched and complained about the gore because they never read the comic, so they had no
Right.
idea this was coming.
Right.
But you have to think, this is a post-apocalyptic world with ravenous carnivorous zombies.
Mhm.
There's going to be gore. There's going to be guts.
Well, see, that's they have no. See, people have. The funny thing is, people have no problem. We have to understand something: is that there are people out there that in any show invest a lot of time and energy into a character. So, in other words, Glenn being the beloved character was not to find the psychology of it, but also when he's brutally murdered, there are people that take that to heart.
Mhm.
You killed my guy. Zombie. They don't mind the zombies pulling the entrails out. They love that.
But don't get me wrong, I love Glenn as a character. I
Mhm.
love him. He's one of my favorite characters. But I also understand why he had to die.
Oh yeah, it's a pivotal part of the story.
And not only that, but it was a huge driving point for Maggie to be like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, that's what took to the next.
I'm
That's to
done.
the next level because
Yeah,
if Glenn
absolutely.
stuck around,
All right, so here you go. People want to know because they're saying that they don't trust Enid. There's been some speculation on Enid on her being a spy for Negan.
Yep.
That she's worked her way in and has been kind of working on the inside, getting close to Carl, stuff like that over time.
well,
So-
she met Enid. Enid came into the fold at the time when the wolves were.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was pre-Negan, before they even really settled in on Alexandria. And I don't see, and the funny thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, I see no kids in the Savior's factory.
No.
No, because
I mean, there's a lot of well-protected sex, but there's no diapers.
yeah.
It's or at least Negan's having a good time, but I don't. It could be. She also, I don't know. She's kind of come in as a love interest. In the comic, Sophia became like his buddy.
Yeah,
She's
Sophia.
still
Yeah,
alive.
Sophia's still
And also
alive.
like a sisterly type thing.
So
Not really-
Enid replaced that.
So Enid became
Chris and I
like that
also
love
talked
interest.
about this multiple times. In the comics and the TV show, they've done this like
Story
love
swap.
shuffle.
Yeah, story swap.
You know,
Oh,
where
they do. Oh, yeah.
like where now like it was Michonne and Ezekiel together in the comics, and
It's
now it's
Rick
Carol and Ezekiel. What we think, that's what I think.
It's gonna be.
Yeah,
Well,
and,
and Michelle, trust me, she got around, and she was
Yeah.
Tyrese.
and Rick and Andrea. You know,
And,
Andrea
oh, yeah.
died back in season
Yeah, which brings us back to
5.
Andrea.
Yeah.
Andrea just died recently.
Was it
Right to the bitter end. She just died. She got bit in the comic.
Oh,
no,
TV
the
show.
show. She showed
That's season
4.
3. By the end of season
3,
3,
yeah.
3 government.
I forgot it was that early.
But the funny thing about it, getting back to the whole Andrea thing, when we were discussing it before we went on air, is that everyone's well aware of the original guy involved with the show was Frank Darabont, the director who did The Green Mile, The Mist. He did a lot of Stephen King adaptations. Well-respected director out there in Hollywood. Well, when he did The Mist actually. Jeffrey DeMunn, who played Dale.
Yep.
Laurie Holden, who played Andrea, and Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, were all in that film.
Okay.
But anyhow, apparently, when Frank Darabont left the show,
You think he was kicked out?
Well, he has a
He
lawsuit.
was
He has a lawsuit going, apparently. I mean, they left on good terms, but apparently, a year or two ago, it was no big thing. He has a multi-million-dollar, maybe on the back-end deal, money that's owed to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think they left. It's the usual, like, we're parting because of creative differences. I'm going to brighter pastures. I don't think it was that amicable.
Right.
Because also explains, going, I said, the first couple episodes of the farm are really tight, and then it gets kind of, like, let's fill this in. But I think that, according to Laurie Holden in a recent interview, Andrea was supposed to play out as she was supposed to play out.
Right. I read that article.
Becoming the sharpshooter.
She wasn't
and this
happy
and that.
about dying, right?
Yeah, and all of a sudden, as soon as Frank Darabont bit the dust or left, she was written off soon afterwards. And of course, people like Sasha took up the sharpshooter thing of hers. Michonne took up Rick's bed. Everybody started filling in.
Which I was just starting to like Andrea as a character. I was just starting to like her too when she was killed.
Well, she was starting to ask for redemption. And that's what happens with in this show. As soon as they find the moral high ground or they find redemption, they're toast.
Yeah.
I mean, like Gale in the comic came off like Ben Grimm, the Thing.
Yeah,
He was like this gruff ex-military guy.
Right.
He was sleep oriented.
Yeah.
You want to stay in my RV? You know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, but then he kind of don't. Jeffrey DeMille was great. He was a moral compass. But near the end, he was whining like a guy that missed the Newburg special in
I
Fort Lauderdale.
fucking hated Dale. I couldn't wait for them to kill that fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He made me want to punch my TV. I couldn't stand his character. I couldn't stand him.
A friend of mine has the same thing about Morgan.
Really?
Oh God, he goes, I can't stand
I'm not a Morgan fan personally.
I go on and off of Morgan. When Morgan becomes a pansy,
Well,
I want to punch him in the face.
he's wishy-washy.
Yeah, he is.
Well, see, I think out of everybody in the entire TV show, from what we've seen, he is the most mentally unstable.
Well, in the comic, he's very mentally unstable.
Yeah.
He never regrouped. Rick found him. He went back to the house that Morgan was living in.
Yeah.
When he rescued Rick, he has Dwayne chained to the wall. He's a zombie, like the governor with a kid, and he's just broken.
Well, remember,
Brings him back, and he's still broken. He hooks up with Michonne, and then he gets bit, and then Michonne goes right back.
Yeah, guys, for you tuning in now, we did touch on the Rick flashback thing. Dan's theory is that you guys we're basically gonna watch the war play out through Rick's flashbacks. So the whole war is gonna be basically through his vision, through his memories of what happened.
do you think that what we're seeing, from everything we've seen from the pilot episode till now, has been a flashback? And that flashback sequence is what we're seeing now?
No, I just think they were trying
Just the
to...
all-out war?
I just think all-out war, yes. Well, I mean, there's been a couple flashbacks. Like Michonne had a flashback being in her apartment,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And there's never really been actually any real flashbacks, except in the first 6 episodes. Where they thought back where Carol and her husband met Shane and Glory on the road. They were in traffic, but other than that, no, there's never really been flashbacks. But I think they're just trying. Because let's face it, they've been. They've got a bigger budget now. They can CGI more zombies. They could probably be a little bit more artistic and bring a little bit more, a European flair. And that's why they're going to be trying some different approaches to it, so it's not as straightforward.
Right.
And that's why I think the whole flashback sequence was an interesting way to do it. I mean, it's an interesting, it's kind of refreshing. A lot of people don't like flashbacks. Going, what's going on? I can't figure out things.
Yeah.
What do you think about Gregory coming out with Negan and Simon and everybody, and then trying to sit there and kind of like bolster up and be like, "We're on."
Well, he
Saber's
was.
side."
Yeah,
Basically,
he was. Well,
you have Jesus say, "Hilltop belong." We're with Maggie.
Yeah,
Belongs
we follow
to Hilltop.
Maggie.
You follow
Well,
Maggie now.
His shit was weak right out the gate.
Gregory,
He was never respected. If it plays out, supposed to play out, he's really got an interesting fate for him.
He does.
Ooh, yeah. Don't worry, he's not going to get with this unscathed. It's going to be some old school like Wild West justice. But I do not recall in the comic. I might be wrong. I do not recall him actually siding with Negan. He just was more of like a Judas, and kind of trying to sell everybody down the river.
And he was more trying to survive for himself.
Yeah, and it was more along the lines of trying to have Maggie murdered.
Okay.
I mean, more something kept within the hilltop. I guess which brings us back to we talk about flashbacks and changes. We mentioned earlier about just bring it up the CDC segment in the first season.
Right.
Robert Kirkman has always had he regretted that.
Right.
And I think there's two reasons. That the interesting thing about The Walking Dead is it plays out in if you watch either Night of the Living Dead or you read the comic, you don't know how far this disease is spread.
Right.
It's their world. There's no communication. So maybe if we get to the next town, we're safe. Maybe we get to the state of New York, we're safe. Whatever it may be, they don't really know.
Maybe it's just the United States
Right.
or whatever. Yeah.
But what happened when they did the CDC thing? I have two theories on it. Well, one theory is not a theory. The second one's a theory. The first one is I think that most audiences want to have an explanation. Sometimes they want things spelled out. So, okay, everybody gets it. It's happening all over the world. Everybody happy now? We move on. I think another reason why they filmed that sequence, the whole CDC segment, is because at that time when they filmed the first 6 episodes, I don't think they had been renewed. And had they not been renewed for a second season, it would have had some kind of a tidy wrap up. They left, the place blew up, we know the rest of the world is screwed, and they drive off into the sunset. Okay, nice 6 episodes, we're on. Little did they know. And that's why I think they did that all, just in case they had to wrap it up, instead of leaving it one.
Yeah, here we are, 7 seasons later.
Yeah.
7 seasons later, Kirk is kicking himself.
So I mean, I know a lot of you guys are wondering why Rick looks so much older, and
Michonne looks like she's younger.
and
than she
Michonne
was.
looks like she's the same age or whatever, and Judith only looks like she's a few years older. What you guys have to know is that in this battle that takes place between the Saviors and everyone, Rick gets really severely injured, hence the cane that he has. The fight that him and Negan have in the comic
He loses the hand, right?
well, that's way early though.
Yeah.
That's way early. They haven't touched on that. They say
was
that, yeah. But this battle that takes place, Rick will look very battered and just worn down from, think about it, being on bed rest and not active and anything like that, being injured. He's gonna age. He's gonna, this war is going to age him physically, mentally, everything. Yeah.
This guy's been through the mill.
So I mean, and that's to spare his, people like Judith and Michonne, because you see he left Michonne at Alexandria with Carl. So he really doesn't want them playing a part in this war. He's trying to preserve his future to have a family.
He literally has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Because not only is he trying to figure out how he can make his family survive, but how he can make 3 different communities survive. And that's going to take a toll on anyone, no matter who you are.
Did they correct me if I'm wrong?
Gay, listen, Gregory's not going to find anything besides the other end of a death weapon. Gregory dies. Gregory dies.
Love Xander Berkeley. Don't like Gregory.
Love you, Xander. Love everything you do, but your character's a puss.
Which, goes to his acting abilities.
Yeah,
To portray a character like that is phenomenal on his part. Jesus Christ, Lucy.
They want to know what our theory is on shooting out the windows at with the Sanctuary.
I know
Sanctuary.
that one. That was a waste of bullets, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless they found like a military cache of ammo.
No, the only thing I can think of is by shooting out the glass. Glass falls all over the place.
Which, very well, yes.
And it becomes a danger for the people inside and outside. That's the only really theory I have on shooting
Yeah,
out the
they weren't
glass.
hitting. Those windows are very high.
Yeah.
They're shooting upwards. Plus, also, in the comic book, Eugene never goes over to Negan.
Right,
Eugene is the bullet maker,
right,
and he's making bullets back near Alexandria.
yeah,
So, the thing is, with Eugene over there, going off with with Negan,
With Negan, yeah.
Who's making the bullets?
right, yeah.
So, for them to go out there and just shoot bullets recklessly.
Which again, I mean, they could do this kind of band-aid explanation for it and say, in between season 7 finale and season 8 premiere, they found a weapons cache at some military outpost.
Right.
But it's like you said, if not, where do these bullets come from? Why does Rick feel like he could waste these bullets?
I know.
Because before they were rationing them worse than the United States did during the Great Depression.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a little. I think that's just for theater. We can't find a logical.
Yeah.
Like, you want to go logical? Let's put it this way. Let's go back to the movie World War C. Right?
Right.
Here we are in the middle of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Shit's hitting the fan. Of course, Brad Pitt. Why is it nobody else got into this RV but Brad Pitt? There should have been people jumping over each other to get into that
Like
RV. And then when he drives away, there's no traffic.
Right.
So, we try not to you know, we
think
try not
too much
to
about
think
it,
too
but
much.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be entertained. I think it was just a show of force. Also, in case the winter comes, okay, how are they going to? They have enough
True.
cardboard to cover the window,
Or
Yeah.
rain, anything.
Right.
Now the elements are able to get to them.
right? So you know, it could be any
Or
number
are
of
they
theories.
doing it because down the road they've got some grenades they're going to chuck together?
Or remember,
You know,
Rick
like
gets
fish in a barrel.
Hey, they got
gets
rocket launchers too.
Rick gets caught up in this thing with Father Gabriel to pull him back and say, "It's not about you."
Yeah.
And maybe in his moment, let's just
Now,
go ape shit.
Gregory obviously abandons Gabriel.
Yeah.
Okay, real shit move, like super
Oh, yeah.
dick move. You know,
He's a
Gabriel.
coward.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, that's what it boils down to. He's a coward. So now the show ends. You have Gabriel and Negan locked up together.
Mm-hmm.
So your theory on that, just so we can touch base on that, your theory on that is that Gabriel's going to die. They're going to use him as a bargaining chip, not and they won't know that
Yes.
Gabriel's dead.
Under the premise that he's still
And-
alive.
yeah.
as in
So
the,
as in the comic, they'll
Right.
have him
right,
blanketed.
as in the comic, they have found
They
somebody
pillowcase his
who's a
head.
friend. They brought the girl back.
Right.
Negan presented her. Denise, the doctor, who got the arrow
Yeah.
in her eye.
Yes.
She goes out. They pull the thing off her head, and she bites her. So basically, it was just a ploy. So I don't know. Either that or who knows? Either that or maybe Gabriel and him will
I know.
shimmy up. You know?
I know a lot of us are hoping that Dwight, being an inside man, saves him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I love where Father Gabriel has come. I love
come a
where
long way.
love where he's started and what he's developed into.
Mm-hmm.
Any character on that show, any actor on that show who's been able to bring someone that most hated and become to what I call him as Rick's new Herschel.
Yep.
His character development and everything he's been able to do for that character, to me, it's just too soon for him to go.
And I think that out of all the characters, that Father Gabriel has progressed the most out of a single character.
I agree.
I can't imagine anyone else that has even come close to it.
No, nobody actually. You know, Carol was a long-winded process. And,
That was very drawn out. It took a lot of things to happen for her to
and then she
get
went through
that
her
way.
thing. I can't live like this
Yeah.
anymore. And this,
And she bounced back and forth between,
oh yeah,
you know, bacon and apple pie to, you
that's
know,
why her
to
and Morgan
killing
along so
kids,
well,
you know.
because they're always bouncing back and forth. You know.
Let's see. So,
I hate to do this, I'm going to use the bathroom.
sure. What? Dude, are you serious?
Seal. Come on.
Oh my god, this guy's gonna take a bathroom break during our podcast.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Hold on. Can you get mine?
He's gonna have to.
Oh, he'll get mine. This might become very. We might be
Oh.
something engaged.
See, everyone's going to hate me now.
Oh,
I can't believe he just did this on a live podcast.
Absolutely. I tried to hold it as long as I could.
Dude, I could have got you a bottle.
bucket.
Yeah, I could have given you a bucket. Unbelievable.
I have a mop. Feel free.
So while Ryan goes and relieves himself, we're going to keep the show going. Sorry about
Is
that.
anybody asking questions?
Yeah, what do we got? I'm trying to find stuff. Let me see. Oh, well, Donna, we already ate all the food before the show started. I'm sorry. But I can tell you what we had if you want. Ryan had the Walker Stalker burger, which is a really big burger. It's got pico de gallo on it, sriracha, right? It kind of looks like spinach. It kind of looks like brains. The way it's broken out kind of looks like brains on top of a burger. Really good. We had the George Romero wings, which were really freaking good too. And I had the Dennis LeBron chicken sandwich, which was amazing.
Named after the owner of Carmel Beverage. So if you ever go to Carmel Beverage in Carmel, New York, just say, "Hey, I had you for lunch."
There you go.
Dennis, I had you.
Oh,
There you
well,
go.
that was
quick.
Damn, he must have
That was bad.
had to go quickly.
I did.
So Ryan's back, everybody.
Oh.
We just got done talking about our food, so that everyone knew what we had. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lucy. Mr. Pee-Pee time over here. All right, so what do we got? I'm looking for questions, but I think we're okay as of right now. So, theories for next week on what's going to happen.
Well, I believe, and I'm not sure if this happened last season, but I know there's been like Alexandria has been kind of like mangled up in the past. I believe they burn Alexandria. They do attack Alexandria.
So you
You know
think in
what's
the next
funny?
phase
Because
that
actually,
Saviors
if you-
attack?
Well, because if I recall, when it wasn't this year, but the buildings, some of the buildings are facade buildings
Yeah.
that are in Alexandria, the actual set, they're burned, they're charred.
You know, it's funny because I follow one of those Twitter pages where it's people that live near where the filming is done, and I believe it was either Hilltop or Alexandria, I can't remember which one, where the person who had a camera, they were zooming in, taking pictures of like filming going on, and from what they could see, it looked like a couple of buildings had gone up in explosions.
Right, and I think the Saviors are, because I recall, if you recall correctly, I know they've kind of cut them off when Negan was, when Rick confronts Negan at the Savior's compound.
Yeah, essentially.
And he says, and basically Negan says, "Don't worry, trouble's coming." Like he sent something out.
Right.
So there's something in the
Well,
works.
because before
But
they
you
showed
think that
up,
the trouble-
that party did leave Sanctuary.
But that's the party
The guys
that.
on the motorcycles and the.
But that's the party that Morgan and then blew up.
Was that them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the
Oh, yeah,
motorcycle
you're right.
that was
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
right. It was.
So
But that begs the question.
they already counteracted Negan's plan
Yeah.
on going.
Okay, well, just in that case,
But,
possibly.
but is there any clear indication that they got them leaving Sanctuary? Or did they get them trying to go back to
Well,
Sanctuary?
that's when Morgan went, "Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That never did pan out."
Either way,
Because
Negan
for
fixed
all
it.
we know,
Negan
most
goes,
of these
looks
communities
like
are
they're,
unprotected.
yeah. Well, Negan because Negan doesn't know that they took out all his posts, all his watch guards.
Not yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But he
he
does-
thinks that he sent those people out to go do something bad. He sees the explosion and he goes, "Well, it looks like something bad's happening somewhere, Rick." You know, but he doesn't know that it happened to his
That's
people.
some people. Yeah, maybe.
So
Well, Negan got caught with his pants down right now.
yeah,
Which
pretty
actually
much.
in the comic he's not.
Right,
It's pretty much two steps. I mean, he's pretty intimidating right to the end,
right.
and he still intimidates people long after.
That's why I think the next couple episodes is going to be the Saviors coming back and really
There's going to be
Some,
there's
like,
gonna be
guerrilla
rebuttal.
warfare.
putting some pain.
like,
Like there's going
strikes.
to be
Those buildings going to have to be destroyed.
there's going
Oh,
to be
yeah,
like
I
some
agree.
severe, you know,
Ramifications,
put on this. You know, for doing what they did.
I mean, they may attack the hilltop. They may attack the kingdom.
Marissa says, "Truth time. Do you think The Walking Dead can survive the loss of another beloved major character?"
Well, I think they had a big they had a big falling off with the whole Glenn and the whole Abraham thing.
Yeah.
But that was more, as you said, there were people who were afraid of the gore. There was
Yeah.
a number of reasons for
Right.
it. Some done with it and things like this. I think they have to, with whatever few beloved characters, because up until the point they got rid of Abraham and Glenn, they really hadn't invested enough energy in many other characters.
Yeah.
It's still the main core. The ones that I can think that might go, I don't think Daryl's going to go unless he's tired. I can't see Carol going. Too strong of a character. Rick and Carl, of course not. Michonne.
So that begs the question: do you think that
It
Walking
could be
Dead can
Morgan or
survive?
Maggie. They could survive with something like Morgan or Maggie.
Do you think they
I
can
think
survive
so.
without Rick?
Well, Rick is.
They can survive without Rick, but not until Carl's older.
Carl
I
can take
agree
the
100%.
mantle.
I really think he'll
right
take the
now
mantle.
he is still a major one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the funny thing about it is like with Daryl, like originally Norman Reedus was going to be written off the show rather early, and he became so popular they kept him on, and he ended up becoming the backbone of the whole show.
They say,
So
it says, do you think that the scenes where Rick was crying means there will be a lot of his friends are gone or going to die?
could be, or it could also be just thinking about all the people he's lost all
Already.
along the way.
Since
The
the pilot
whole
episode to now.
story.
Yeah, yep.
I'm still thinking that he's at those grave sites, kind of reminiscing with Glenn and Abraham, like
Yep.
talking to them, just kind of like spending time with them
What have I
as
done?
he's contemplating this war.
Or sad that they're not
Like,
here.
Because who would he talk to? He talked to Glenn, and he would talk to Abraham.
And not even that. The thing about this too, he walked outside. Who was the first person he sees? Judith.
Yeah.
What if he's sitting there going, "Holy shit! Like, my wife's gone. You know, she can't see our daughter
So is her
going
dad,
out."
Shane. My best friend.
Oh, no.
You know Johnny Bernthal.
Johnny Bernathal's gone.
No.
But I think also is remember if you remember correctly, was it the end of last season or after the first half of last season? Rick had this kind of like dream sequence where everybody was sitting at a table, like at Thanksgiving, and
Mhm.
Glenn was there, and Abraham was there, and everybody was there.
Everyone's happy.
And so I could see him after that those shots of him crying could very well be in the timeline of things
Mhm.
when the war is over,
Right.
and he's realizing
Reflecting.
that all of the people that he's lost up to that point, because all he wants to do is everybody be happy, everybody have a good life.
You know what would be kind of cool if after all this is said and done with, right? After the all-out war is completed, you see the same sequence with everybody sitting at the at the table, right, getting ready to eat, and you see Glenn and you see Abraham, but then Rick starts thinking, and all the people that have died start fading out of the picture, and all he sees is what's left, and that's what makes him really kind of visually upset.
Sorry, I was reading something funny.
Oh, okay.
Hercules said, "Please don't kill Daryl. Those fangirls are dead ass serious about rioting."
Oh man, I'll tell you,
Um,
that's a man that can't go buy a quart of milk.
yeah, I know. Well, he's got riding with Ritas now.
Oh, yeah.
And him and JDM have been spotted all over the Catskills.
Well, because JDM just had, I think Harley Davidson
Gave him one. Bill Lucian gave him one.
Yeah.
Made him one, and of course he does have a Rhinebeck, as you know. And
yeah, and
same
they
with
showed
Steve
off the motorcycle at the Dutch County Fair.
Yeah.
That he even rode it around.
And rumor has it that Norman's looking for a place to
Oh, I thought Norman did buy a place up here, up in
he was looking.
Rhinebeck. I
I
heard.
think he was. Yeah, I think he did. Newburg or Rhinebeck, something like that.
Because I forgot who it was, but one of the local radio stations, their daughter was eating at some diner in Newburg,
And he showed.
and he walked
was
in,
there, yeah.
and she was like, and she took a selfie with him and shit, and he was talking about how he's moving up here.
So we're up to 16. Hey, listen, guys, if you're watching right now, could you please hit the like button? And if you haven't subscribed already, would you mind subscribing also? So just hit that little thumbs up if you're liking what's going on, please. We got 9 thumbs ups right now, but we got 16 people watching. So if we could get the other
Now they
8 people to do it,
Now they have talked about
or 7 people, sorry.
Scott Gimple is going over as the showrunner to Fear the Walking Dead as well, and that's what they're talking crossover.
Yep.
So here's a good theory to pose for everybody. What character do you think will cross over from one show to the other?
I think,
mind you, Fear the Walking Dead is falling about 2 or 3 years behind the timeline, so they're going to show up. It's probably going to be somebody from
Well, Fear's the start of the break.
Start of the break.
I think it'll be Michael Coolidge. I think it'll be Abraham.
But there's been speculation that it will be Abraham
Houston, Texas.
because of Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is supposed to be this
So they
place.
met them in the earlier days
Yes.
Right.
before the thing.
Because his storyline was that he was held up in a grocery store with his daughters and his wife.
Right.
These men were trying to rape his wife and kill him. He goes nuts, beats the shit out of him and kills
Yes.
him.
That was in the flashback sequence. And
Yeah,
on
for
the Walking
Abraham,
Dead. Yeah.
right.
And his
So
family
then-
leaves him, right?
So, huh?
His family leaves him in the
But his
comics.
wife takes the kids and runs,
Yeah,
And they don't.
and
they
then he
die.
finds them killed by the zombies. So I think the crossover, we talked about this, I think, last week, that the crossover event is going to have Abraham coming back being a crossover event
In the earlier years.
in the earlier years. Yep.
What about Martinez?
We've been told, yeah, listen.
Martinez, he was the one that was, when, as a matter of fact, at one point, earlier reports were listing him as being he was in the cast of Fear the Walking Dead
Mm-hmm.
as another character.
Right.
But he's the one that went south after they left the Atlanta camp.
Yep.
And
It's
with
true.
the family, so he could very well pop up.
True.
The only other way, I thought in the opposite direction. I don't know why, but if you're watching Fear the Walker Dead, the Indian by the name of Walker.
From
Him
Fear.
and his- From Fear.
From Fear.
Him and his buddy, for some reason, I could picture them not sticking around
Okay.
and traveling cross country, and then eventually ending up
In Texas?
in Virginia.
Oh, in Virginia.
Yeah, in 3 years in the future.
Okay.
But that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right.
well, unless they run into Merle in prison. Well, as a matter of fact, they asked Merle. They asked Michael Rooker once he was going to come back and do some. He was to come back to the thing. And ever since he's gone in the what do you call movies?
Guardians.
The Guardians. You can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, he will be at Walker Stalker, New Jersey, so
Yes.
I mean,
all right, so going into next weekend, so we're thinking that there's going to be Savior retaliation,
Certain times, yeah, and that's all I could really think of.
major destruction in Alexandria.
I think it's going to be a couple
Yeah.
weeks of this guerrilla warfare where
maybe-
Sabres are striking back.
If what's his name, Gregory shows up right away at the hilltop, his justice might be meted out rather quickly
Okay.
because of what went down. I think you're also going to be seeing, some interesting shots inside the Sabres compound with Father Gilliam, not Father Gilliam,
Father Gabriel.
Father Gabriel, close, Father Gabriel and Negan himself about how that's going to play out.
I also think that this charade that Negan put on in the season premiere, where he's in fear for his life and he's running and whatever, towards the end there, I really think that was a show. And
I think so too.
I think
Yeah.
that he knows that he is 2 steps ahead of Rick's group, and that he has all of these like Plan Bs, Plan Cs.
He's a major manipulator.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not.
and he's intelligent.
Yes.
He's highly intelligent. He's very, very street smart,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got all this knowledge that he doesn't admit he has.
And he's not afraid of anything. If you think about it, that's why even him being locked up in that construction, cabin. He's like, who cares?
Yeah, and he's laughing the entire time.
Oh,
Lucy, okay, so real quick, the crossover, okay? Basically what they're doing with the crossover event is they're trying to get Fear the Walking Dead to, it's its own identity, but they're trying to, it's the sister show to The Walking Dead, even though it has its own following and its own whatever. They're trying to merge these 2 shows together so that they become just more one universe, so to speak. So in order to make that universe come together, they're taking a character from The Walking Dead and introducing him to Fear the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead is the beginning of the apocalypse. So The Walking Dead happened years after Fear the Walking Dead started. So what they're going to do is bring Abraham back into the earlier years when the breakout first happened. This is what we're thinking.
But have they fully established when the initial outbreak happens in the pilot episode of Fear the Walking Dead?
that's an
and
interesting.
when Rick wakes up.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
theory, because I've been a big fan of Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The reason why I liked it is because it does show. Because you think about it, The Walking Dead, you don't jump into the universe of the story until Rick is out of his coma. The world's already been in chaos for wherever it
and
was.
you're seeing from his perspective,
His
a man who's
perspective.
been in a coma.
So my theory is this: is that the outbreak happens in Fear the Walking Dead.
Yep.
Okay. You've seen Fear the Walking Dead?
I've seen a chunk of
Okay.
season 1.
In the first season, if you notice, they get kind of like locked into their neighborhood. Then at one point in time, and that whole storyline of the first season,
The military
Fear the
comes in and just
And
locks them
quarantines
down,
everybody.
down,
Yep.
but
and
then they-
starts clearing, like
but
literally
then they're
killing everybody.
then they're given orders to vacate.
To vacate, right.
And I believe, and that story in Fear the Walking Dead, the first season takes place over about a 1 to 2 week period. And I believe that at the time when all the soldiers are told to vacate the premises, get rid of people, kill people, whatever, just pull back. At the same time, when Shane goes back to the hospital to see Rick, because that's, you remember, the National Guard and soldiers are
Yes.
coming and start shooting people.
And
So that falls into that. So they both start at the same time.
And that's when
You think there's
Shane
only maybe a
barricades
couple
the
week
door.
difference?
In the beginning of the show.
Okay.
But the way the story has left forward in The Walking Dead, I think they are running about 2 years or 3 years ahead of the Fear the Walking Dead story
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
The beginning they start out, you can cross them over in the first episodes of both shows. But then
So the speed at which the shows are moving is very different.
very different. The Fear the Walking Dead is still very much in the first
Slower.
month and a half of the outbreak. Whereas Fear the Walking Dead, you could just see that from the whole thing of the pregnancy of
Well,
Lori right
right.
after the baby and
See,
so on and so on.
And I know Fear caught a really bad rap, and as I'm reading, a lot of people here, Hercules likes it, and there's people who don't like it. The thing that really intrigued me about Fear when it first started is watching the outbreak happen, watching how this virus took over,
Oh yeah.
and then seeing how people just didn't know what to do,
How to react?
how to react. The reaction was just like, ooh, what
It
the-
seemed genuine.
Yeah,
No, see,
exactly.
and that's what you missed in The Walking Dead. You
Right.
never saw that.
Yeah,
other
right,
than
exactly.
a very few flashbacks.
Because again, you're only seeing it from the perspective of the main character,
Right.
who, for all
And-
intents and purposes, has been in a coma
Right.
from a matter of days to a year.
And then
you don't know.
You see the military in action doing pretty much exactly, honestly, what I think they would do.
Mhm.
I really do. I think that they would be told to go in, clear out these towns,
Eradicate the
because-
problem.
Yeah, eradicate the problem, and let's
Contain
stop
it.
this. Let's
And
stop
hunker
this
down,
spread from happening.
Yeah.
Later on, you see them traveling in the boat. They end up at a house with a family who's been held up, and the father at this house is like a park ranger or some kind of.
Yeah, he just kind of hunkered down.
He hunkered down, but he had a map of the U.S. And he also had a CB radio
Yep.
where he was able to communicate with other park rangers in other parts of the United States. And he specifically says, I lost contact with California, I lost contact with Colorado, Utah. So he's going through the United States mapping out where these places existed where you had communication and how they've been wiped. So you're getting a point of view from Fear the Walking
From
Dead.
everyday person.
It is crept across the nation, wiping out a state at a time.
Well, not only that, but also the dreaded CDC scene. What's the doctor's name? I can't remember. Whatever, the doctor's name. He starts talking about all these different CDC
In France,
facilities.
there was one in Paris.
There's one in
that had gone
Paris.
black.
There was
Yeah.
one in other countries,
Yes.
other states that were working on a cure.
I see.
And they lost contact with all these different sites. And all he can assume is they're gone.
Yeah, that's what you can say.
They've been wiped out. They've either been wiped out or they packed it up and they realized that all hope was lost and they beat feet.
Well, see, that's why I enjoyed the Fear of the Walking Dead, because you think about it, in the beginning of the show, he's worried about, like, his relationship with his estranged son. He's fixing pipes at Madison's house. Madison has his son. It's all these things that are major issues in civilization, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when the shit hits the fan,
Right.
you know how he reacts. Same as like Travis just doesn't get it that the neighbor is screwed up when he's
Yeah.
being the German Shepherd.
Right.
So you have to have a crossover artist like Roy Blaze come in and just set it straight.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
that.
it's true.
But that's what I enjoyed about it. And there was a lot of people that kind of diss that shit. Because I think there's also another subculture below all the Walking Dead fans out there. And this other subculture is one that we want zombies. We want zombies. And they felt probably slighted that there were no zombies up until the end of the few random occasions, which that's how you would see it anyhow. Your
Right.
neighbors turned, this and that, and until you found the stadium.
Yeah.
And he led them to the military facility.
Right.
But that's why people diss us. Oh, it's not enough action. There's not this. There's not that. And that's,
They needed to start from the beginning and
Mhm.
explain step by step how this process happened to show you, obviously, where it is now, and to show you the different reaction to people in the beginning to how you saw how things were with Rick and everybody.
I agree.
You know, things were much more advanced. You know, and it's just
But not only that, but even Walking Dead itself has received a lot of flack from people because they think it's not enough zombie killing.
right.
I know. Well, it is more about people than anything.
Absolutely. But the reason why I enjoy that is because in a real Z-Cock situation, that's going to be one of the biggest things you have to worry about. Is whether or not your neighbor's going to shoot you when you walk out your door.
That's always the thing. The fear is the other humans out there.
Yeah, and like, well, that's when we touch on this every now and then. Like, close your eyes and put yourself in this scenario where the world has gone to shit, okay? And you have to now. There's no electricity. There's no way to get transportation for food shipped anywhere anymore. There's no way to get
guarantee
fuel.
your family's going to have any dinner or any water.
So it's basically like, think about it in an active shooter situation. Run, hide, fight. Zombie apocalypse. Run, hide, fight. You're gonna run, you're gonna hide, and then you're gonna fight.
People lose their shit nowadays with a snowstorm.
Exactly. Yeah.
and
of
I
course.
mean, think about this too.
I mean, think about these storms. Think about Puerto Rico. They still is without power.
In the same kind of situation, your next door neighbor, right? You know that he, is a strict couponer, and that he stores, canned vegetables and stuff like that. And here you have your two kids; they're starving to death.
You're gonna take it.
What are you going to do? You're going to go in and you're going to take his shit. He's going to fight you because he needs that to stay alive.
Yeah, you get it. No, people are gonna get medieval. There's no control.
Does that make you a bad person? No, not necessarily.
Hey, I mean, that's what happens when the grid goes down.
Absolutely.
They're talking about fear. They're just kind of going along with us, going through. Yeah, Strand is gay.
Well, in
yes.
real life, yes.
Yeah. We have Stitches here. She just popped on. There's another one of our followers. Yeah, they're talking about Strand and Travis and Madison.
Madison, I'm starting to like her a little bit.
A lot of people say that she's the Nick. I mean, the Rick of the group.
Yes, well, she's proven that to be. But the other thing is, there's a lot of inadequacies in that show too. That it's kind of weird. It's like, this kid recently, the one son that lived, Troy, the sociopath or psychopath, whatever, who led the horde into the encampment.
Right.
He's basically a lunatic, and Madison just offed him.
Right.
Because he was nuts, but Nick seems to protect him.
Yeah.
Because he's now sire. And there's some weird, end up getting his brother killed.
Hercules says, "How long do you think you guys would realistically survive in a zombie apocalypse?"
My basement is finished. I'm good for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food, everything, water.
A lot of water and a lot of Ritz crackers.
Don't knock Ritz crackers.
It's something, man. It's something.
You know what?
MREs.
I'm gonna say I could between weapons, using whatever knowledge I have, and hunkering down. Same kind of basement. I got canned food. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna say I could go a solid 365 until I had to really venture out.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'd be fine.
I'd be okay between my knife collection, my guns, my dad's gun collection. I think we'll be all right.
I also plan on definitely forming a group. Like Ryan and I talk about this all the time. Is like I definitely plan on having a scenario, my Z-Box scenario on. Listen, this happens. This is where we meet. This is what we bring. You don't bring anyone besides the people you're told to bring, and that's it. And then almost kind of like we do. I won't accept anybody unless it's a really young child, and I know that they are definitely by themselves and not being used as bait.
Would you do almost like what Rick does?
Ask questions. I personally don't care if you've killed people because if you haven't,
The problem is
you're kind of more useless to me.
The problem is in the Walking Dead universe, zombie films don't exist, so nobody knows any of the theory about shooting in the head or crazy stuff like that. So if anything had happened like that, I doubt highly unlikely it'll happen. But unless everybody just starts doing massive doses of bath salts. And
Hercules says, Ryan, would you have to take a piss break in between zombies attacking?
carry a hot water bottle around, strapped to his leg.
That's a good one, Herc.
Just never told you how to get a YouTube account.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, so listen, let's jump. You have a lot of movie knowledge, and you have a lot of insight with certain directors that you've been involved with in your life.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew George Romero a number of times. I was friends with his agent. I sat with him on numerous occasions. Sweet man who never lost his Bronx attitude. Who, it's that. I remember there was a funny story. I told a friend of mine that did a film called Spookies 3 years ago. Working on, it was a horror film that was made in the 80s down in Newburg, down in Rye, New York, in an old mansion. And the story goes that the artists there were 2 makeup artists on set. One's a guy named Gabe Martell, who was out of California. Another one, Jennifer, I'd like to say Aspinall, I may have her name incorrectly, but they're 2 people that have gone off to big careers in makeup and so forth.
Oh, okay.
And they were also working on a friend of mine named Marty Brilliant. Well, while they were doing Spookies, Greg Nicotero and George Romero were doing Day of the Dead in Pennsylvania. And story has it is that they needed to make a bunch of cadavers. And they didn't have enough facility space to do what they were doing down in Pennsylvania. So they contacted Gabe, contacted somebody and says, can we use some of this, can you help us out making some bodies? So they were making all these bodies, these like dead bodies. And they were laying them out on this wall, this big mansion. And they ended up kind of going, so it's been restored since it's a mansion. All these bodies laid out. And apparently a woman was coming up to do like a photo expose on the building, and she sees all these dead bodies on the lawn, and she screamed and ran to the police, said there was some kind of a mass suicide there. And the cop came up and he said, what's going on? I was trying to explain what they were doing. The cop goes, the boys want to do makeup. I'll take care of this. Can I come back? Will you teach me? And the girl calmed all that, no charges against anybody. He come back and started making models.
That's awesome.
But yeah, but apparently, Greg Nicotero and everybody sent people up there at that point with this. No, George Romero he had this thing with the world. I guess he was a fellow that, he created a genre. It's become this juggernaut. And he's always managed to somehow, get the short end of the stick. He's an independent filmmaker, so when he went to Hollywood, God knows all the politics and there. But he had a very hard time raising money to do films. And even when they did Land of the Dead, they didn't really, they released it in June, as opposed to Halloween or October, your perfect time to release it. But no, I made friends with a number of the people who were in all those movies, Ken Foree, Sky Renaker, and all of them. So I used to go to some of the shows, and I used to bring them back in the day. I used to print photos for them. And they'd print them, and then they would sign them, make all these, like, screen caps. And I'd give them, like, a disc with, like, 50 screen caps. And they had all these different pictures to print and sell at the shows long before now you could do it cheaply.
Right.
So I developed a lot of, relationships with these people. And it's just, it's been an interesting ride with that. I mean, the main thing I wanted to talk about, and we discussed earlier, is I wanted to talk about suggested harm, zombie movies,
Yeah.
for the holidays,
Right.
or Halloween.
All right,
And,
we can do that. I do have one question before we start that. Linda wants to know, what was your favorite overall scene from this past week's show? I can give you mine.
Give me yours first.
All right. My favorite overall scene from the show was actually a moment. It was a real quick moment that Gabriel and Rick had. And it was just Gabriel and Rick kind of just sharing this look back and forth. After, Rick's giving his speech and all that stuff and everything like that. And I actually took a photo of it and I posted it on our Twitter that night as I was watching it. I captured it. I was like, hey, we know that guy kind of thing. But it was just this moment you saw between Gabriel and Rick, where you just saw like Gabriel, I don't want to say at peace, but just like really happy, knowing where he is in that family right now, and knowing that he's that guy for Rick. So that was kind of like my favorite moment out of the whole thing.
Actually, he's become, like you said, he's become the Herschel,
Yes.
the spiritual
Like
advisor.
he's acknowledged how far he's come.
Right.
And that's what he also told Rick is something he's not about to
Right.
do. I have to say it. I have to go with everything that went on, Negan and so forth. And you see him cowering behind the piece of metal, and Rick's trying to shoot him and stuff. I just think him lurching out of the shadows and telling Father Gabriel, "I hope you got your shit together."
Yeah.
And just that grin on his face, and it's just like, okay, we know, as we said, this thing seems to be some kind of a setup.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly what he was doing. He wasn't. When he ran out of the building, he was cowering, but he wasn't.
Right.
And he just really had it.
But I think that was planned.
Yeah.
It gives Rick a false sense of security, saying, I made the devil
Right.
cower in
Cower,
fear.
Right.
No, and Negan likes to play mind tricks.
Exactly. And
He
I
plays
truly
mind
think
tricks.
that because that's his thing. He does not have to kill you. He doesn't have to hurt you. He has to fuck your mind.
Mhm.
That's his thing.
I mean, he did that with Carl. It was from the comic book.
I mean, even with Dr. Carson, throwing him into the fire the way he did, that was not to. It was nothing to do with Dr. Carson.
Mhm.
It was everybody else.
Oh, it's all about
You
control.
see what happens when you fuck with people?
Oh yeah, well
That's what happens.
Well, that's why when somebody betrays him and such, he uses the old hot iron on their face. Every time you see, you just have to look at somebody and say, "Don't cross me." He's a control freak.
And even the one time when Carl first shows up at Sanctuary after he killed two of Negan's men, Negan's like, great, now I'm not going to make time to fuck any of my wives. And he goes, well, he looks at Dwight, he goes, well, maybe one.
You guys are messed up.
And it's assuming that he means Cheryl.
Oh yeah, he
And he said that intentionally because he knows that he has to kind of keep Dwight in check. And that if he goes a certain amount of time without putting this kind of fear or embarrassment into Dwight's going to stray again.
Oh, he's basically new to everything.
Yeah, so all the newbies that have just showed up, like Debs and who else we got? Michelle and everybody who just showed up. You better hit that thumbs up button for us. Let's get some thumbs ups out of the newbies that just showed up not too recently.
Any other questions here?
That was the last one that's
Where's
asked.
my
So,
dinner?
yeah, well,
my favorite scene.
everybody wants to
was
know where
Negan.
their dinner is.
No.
Go ahead.
Was Negan telling Rick that he had a bigger dick than he does.
Porch steak.
No, but I think we're off to a rousing start.
Yes.
With this next season, and like I said, I think you're going to see these wars. There's going to be a little bit of guerrilla combat going on in the next couple episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything too deep. I do believe that Father Gabriel is about a 50-50 shot. Something's going to happen, and the other one is I believe that Gregory is going to be met with his justice.
Good.
Maybe quicker than thought.
Yeah.
I think very quickly we're going to find out that
Real quick, the guy that everyone's been asking about, who's the new guy? Avi. He was casted. His name is Avi. I can't remember. But he was
the fellow with the gas station.
Yes. That guy is interesting. His name is Sadiq in the show. I talked about this with Tiffany, and I think Linda was involved in it, and Stitch, and a few other people. But his character's name is Sadiq. Sadiq. I haven't seen him yet in the comic. I haven't gotten that far.
He's not.
I first came across Sadiq. Sadiq is actually in.
I take that back. He is right. Yeah. Okay.
It's further down.
It's further down the road.
Sadiq is actually an outcast from, I believe, Oceanside. From when the men, in the show, when all the men were kind of like killed or taken, whatever.
See, Oceanside is not as a film.
Right, Oceanside, right.
But he was mentioned in Michonne's Telltale game, right?
Sadiq is mentioned a lot. He actually plays alongside Michonne in Michonne's storyline for Skybound's Skybound's The Walking Dead video game. So
The Telltale game?
the Telltale games.
Yes.
So
Michonne's little spin-off.
yeah,
from the first
Michonne has
season,
her
I think.
own season, the Telltale games.
Yeah.
Sadiq is a heavy character in that basically in that game. So I don't know. See that there's so many different stories. So now, like, you have Michonne intertwined with this guy Sadiq
Yeah, but they're not
in a video game.
Yeah, but I don't think many of the video games, other than maybe putting Norman Reedus in the game at one point, or putting these stories in the show. Like,
Yeah.
for example, in the first Telltale game, Glenn is in it for a small period of time.
Mhm.
But none of the characters created in the
For the
game
game, have a show at the show.
have appeared in the show, and I don't think that they ever plan on. You never know.
I mean,
don't know.
yeah,
It's
they
possible.
could do it.
But I don't think Sadiq is a character in the comics as far as we've gone up to this point.
Yeah. But my thing is, if they were to introduce a character that was explicitly made for one of the Telltale games, if they then introduce them into the show, I feel like that's going to open a lot of can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
Because then people are going to start saying, well, where's what's her name, the girl
Oh, little girl. Little girl?
Which one?
from Telltale?
Oh,
What's the girl?
Clementine.
Clementine. Thank you. You know, people are saying, where's Clementine?
Well, I think if they were going to put any character in there, it would probably be Clementine.
Yeah, oh,
Because
absolutely.
she's been this tie.
Man, let me tell you something. See Clementine? Whew, I don't know. That would blow my mind.
Yeah.
Anybody who's never played those games, let me tell you something. You want to get emotionally involved in a video game, play those Walking Dead games.
So I played the first one.
Yep.
I didn't get. I passed on the second and third.
Well, even,
so far.
even the first one, they show up at Herschel's farm. I think.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yep.
So
Yes, they
it's-
did.
there,
Then you
I
try
mean-
to, then you try to save,
It's son, right?
his son.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do Dan's. How many you got for us? you think?
12.
We got. All right, so Dan's going to give you 12 little zombie.
Zombie film. Basically,
12 zombie films. These are little Christmas treats for you guys. You know,
if you love the zombie
if you
genre.
love the zombie genre, this man is definitely zombie
He's
all
our
the way.
expert.
He is our resident zombie expert.
I was one of these guys that saw Night of the Living Dead when it was in the theaters.
Right.
Probably when I was a teenager, or young teenager. And it was kind of breakthrough. So I've always been a fan of zombies, but I've more been intrigued with the pop culture
okay.
evolution of the zombie. How
So,
it's become from,
so you're going to give everybody 12 treats.
12 treats.
12
It's
treats.
not necessarily in any order. I mean, to give you, give you an idea how big the zombie genre has become. From 1932, when they did White Zombie, up until about 2002, when 28 Days Later was released. It's not a zombie
Right.
film. That's more like a bath salts
Mhm.
musical.
Yeah.
That one. There may have been 40 zombie films made.
Bath salts musical.
Right. There was about 40 zombie movies made.
Right.
From 2002, last 15 years, there's been over 300 or more movies.
Yeah.
Now that's a lot of avenues, streaming, anything from great to horrible.
I was
to
going to
horribly
say,
horrible.
298 of them have been terrible.
They're terrible. But occasionally there's something that shines through for whatever reason. And I've come down with 12, which are part of my library, which I watch. And the first one we're going to mention is a film that came out many years ago in the 70s. This fell between Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
It was an Italian-Spanish film with an English-speaking cast in England. And it's a film that came out called Don't Open the Windows. It eventually came out, of the thing is Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. It's available under another title, big Blu-ray thing, blah, 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 called The Living Dead at the Manchester Moor. Now, the great thing about this
The
film,
Manchester Moor.
I will be putting these up on my personal page on Facebook. I'll put the covers or the posters on there. So
Guys, if you want to go
reference
follow Dan, you're more than welcome to on Facebook. Is it Daniel Brown?
them. Daniel Brown, yep.
On Facebook. He's
And
going to post these movies on his page.
On my page, so you can reference them. Don't Open the Window, or Moving the Manchester Moor, a little gist on the idea about the film, how it starts. It's all about a guy who's leaving his art dealer in London, heading north for a holiday. He hooks up with another girl, and she's on her way to see a sister who's a recovering drug addict. So we follow this, right? in the country area.
Okay.
Well, while they're up there, there's a company that's testing out a new piece of farm equipment that makes pests eat each other as opposed to eating crops. Well,
okay.
side effect, it reanimates the recently dead.
Ah.
And something happens.
That's a
The
bit of a
junkie,
bad side
the ex-junkie's sister has been initially charged, but all of a sudden they're looking at the art dealer from down south, and he becomes a suspect. But in the meanwhile, there's some creepy moments that the makeup, bar none, is right up there with The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Even better than Tom Savini's work. No disrespect to Tom.
Okay.
Great stuff, and there's one sequence in there that takes the term "copping a field" to a whole new glory level. But anyhow, great film. It's available on Blu-ray, on Blue Underground. You can probably find it on streaming services. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue.
Living Dead at Manchester.
That's the only one in the 70s. I'm not a
Okay.
big fan of the 80s. I'm not of the Lucio Fulcis. The Grindhouse stuff I'm not crazy about.
Yeah.
But we're going to jump into two related Romero things. And first is the 1990 color remake of Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead was directed, the remake in 1990 is directed by Tom Savini, who did all of his artwork for special effects makeup in Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow. He's an actor in his own right. He played Sex Machine and From Dusk Till Dawn, the motion picture, and a number of other things. Stars Tony Todd, Candyman, as Ben. Patricia Tallman, who did a lot of things on Babylon 5 and is an actress in her own right, plays Barbara.
Yep.
Follows the story pretty much verbatim, except in the story, except for as opposed to the Night of the Living Dead, where Barbara's in a catatonic state for the entire part of the film. She takes a Sigourney Weaver approach and just turns around and just puts on a tank top, a pair of work form pants, a shotgun, and let's go at it.
Okay.
Takes charge.
There we go.
The reason why they made it, I don't think there's a story about why they made the 1990 Night of the Living Dead. Probably may be aware, but Night of the Living Dead, when George Romero and his producers, who were many of the cast members on the show, on the film, when they made the movie, they had copyrighted under the name Night of the Flesh Eaters. When the distribution company put it out into theaters, they put the name Night of the Living Dead with no copyright on it. So it immediately slipped into public domain.
Oh.
So George Romero and his producers never received a slim dime from it. So Tom Savini went out and put this color remake together for him to make some money because he's on as executive producer and so forth and so on. Now, one thing that George Romero did tell me a long time ago, he said the biggest nightmare in my life was the biggest blessing in my life. And I said, what was that? And he said, by going to public domain, we did not see a dime from the film. It played all over Europe. It played everywhere. Well, because of that, you can own a copy. Everyone knows they would show it at college. They would show it to theaters. They wouldn't have to pay a rental other than owning the print. You didn't have to pay any royalty fee or broadcast fee. It showed up on public access television. The early days of video, it was on every countless video label you could find. So millions of people saw it, and that's why it was rescued from obscurity.
Okay.
And became the cult classic it was. So that was the redemption.
All right.
It became so well known. We're going to go forward now. Another George Romero related film, one of my favorites we talked about earlier, a re-envisioning of Dawn of the Dead. Okay? This was the big thing that brought up the controversy of fast-moving zombies and slow-moving zombies. Big thing about this, it follows the story pretty well.
Yeah.
They do go to a mall. There's two homages in the film to George Romero. In the first 12 minutes of the film, where it's like high octane, her escaping from the housing complex,
Yes.
Yeah.
driving her car.
Yeah.
If you notice a shot as she's driving down the highway, driving away from her community, two things happen. One, a truck rams into a gas station. Okay, that is verbatim what Ben or Dwayne Jones in what Night of the Living Dead says to Barbara when he first says about encountering zombies. They were chasing after a truck exploded. And the other one is the helicopter that flies as a homage to Dawn of the Dead, where they escape from and he landed them all in the helicopter. Those are two homages to George. I like the film. I love the fast-moving zombies. The whole indie gun shop thing is all cool.
Absolutely.
My only drawback with it is too many characters.
Okay.
Not enough development. But overall, he set out to make an action movie. It was basically, 300 with clothed people. It was all action. It works out very well.
Yeah.
The next couple films we're going to go to now, they're not from America. And some are very hard to find. I seem to seek these things out for some reason. The first one we're
Gotta
going to go
go.
with is a film called Devil's Playground.
Okay.
It came out in 2007. Danny Dyer, Craig Fairbass or Fairbairn. You'll notice these British actors. Bottom line, there's infestation. Okay. There's a government-sanctioned hitman. There's a lot of wet work. He goes out, and he's hired to find a girl who slipped through the crevices of the laboratory that's developing the cure, and finding out she is the cure.
Okay.
There's an accident in the lab. Our hitman is bitten. They have not created a cure, but they've created an EpiPen that will hold off the infection in a couple of hours.
Okay.
So he's on this mad dash to find this girl through these quick-moving, zombified streets.
Right.
Of course, meets all the cliched characters, the selfish guy with the Mercedes-Benz, this, that, the other, and so on and so on. Ending of the film is the most satisfying ending of a zombie film with no blood whatsoever. I'm going to say Devil's Playground.
Okay.
Only drawback to the zombies is that they jump off the walls like spiders. It's kind of hard to believe. But other than that, it's a high-octane film.
Little Resident Evil-ish then with that.
Yes, a little bit Resident Evil, but it's just, but the ending, all I know is it's a chainsaw and they're kind of like smoking a cigarette. And it's like, okay, this is how this is going to go down.
Very nice.
The next one up is a German film that runs only about 63 minutes called Berlin Undead, or Rambach.
Okay.
Only 63 minutes. Once again, we have a situation, a guy broken up with his girlfriend, comes back to an apartment complex where they had an apartment. Small 3-story apartment building with a courtyard inside. While they're in there, shit hits the fan out in Berlin. And while he's there, let's say a handyman has a heart attack in the building, and he reanimates.
Okay.
After that, it turns into a combination of I'm Moving Zombies, Crazy Shit, and Rear Window from Alfred Hitchcock, where it's communicating with people across the way, climbing through ceiling panels, trying to get through this, that, and the other. 63 minutes seems like a much longer film, but in a positive sense. Next one after that, Resort. R-E-Z-O-R-T. English film. About after the zombie apocalypse, there's an island off the coast of England.
Okay.
For some reason, there's still countless zombies there. They didn't wipe them out. Or maybe they were dumping bodies there. They never explain it. But what's happened is a corporation has taken it, has turned it into a very high-class resort, in which you pay a lot of money, a la Jurassic Park or something, and you go there to hunt zombies. Even the guards or your tour guides have these red and black zebra-painted jeeps. They take you around, and you kill zombies in a very controlled environment. Well, somebody from an organization kind of like PETA, but more like, PETZ, people against ethical treatment of zombies, decides to throw a virus in the computer. Let's just say their ticket value just went up, and it gets pretty wild. It's just fun for the whole.
Which one is this called?
This is called Resort.
Resort.
R-E-Z-O-R-T.
Okay. All right.
Next one up is a French film called La Horde.
Okay.
La Horde. Undercover police unit. One of their people, in the beginning of the film, one of their characters or one of their partners are killed. They set off to an old apartment building that's kind of crumbling and falling apart to enact revenge on the Senegalese drug dealers that have killed their partner. Well, there's very few people in the building because it's getting ready to be torn down. While they're there, the shit hits the fan out in Paris, and they have to reluctantly team up to get out. They run into a guy who's an old French Foreign Legion veteran. He has a cache of weapons that makes Sylvester Stallone jealous,
Right.
and they just go to town on everything.
Very nice.
A lot of high action.
It's called La Horde.
La Horde or The Horde. Now all these are available on DVD, Blu-ray, and many streaming services.
Linda actually she's from France.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, she
So
knows La
she's
Horde.
watching us in French right now.
So she knows La Horde.
So she just said French film, cool.
Yeah.
So
Thank
there you
you.
go, Linda.
The next one is a mashup. It's available. It pops up. I think it's on Netflix now. But the Big Brother show in England, where it originated,
Okay.
they teamed up with an independent film company, and they created a zombie series called Dead Set.
Okay.
And Dead Set was a 5-part miniseries broadcast on television in which they actually used the Big Brother set,
Yeah.
the Big Brother hostess,
Yep.
past Big Brother guests, and so forth appearing in this, where the zombie outbreak occurs while the people are on the set and everything that goes on around it. There's a fellow, and then stories of people trying to get back to the set. 5 parts, a lot of fun. Like I said, I believe it's on Netflix.
I actually watched it on YouTube.
That's on YouTube as well.
I watched
Yes,
it on YouTube. It's actually really
It's
good.
a pretty wild, high
Yep.
octane.
Yep.
Two other films I'll go into right now to change it up a little bit. They're not exactly high octane. One film, as you know, when Arnold Schwarzenegger came out of the governorship, he was offered a lot of film.
Yeah.
He made a couple of big action movies, made a couple of indie films. One film is called Maggie. It's a zombie movie.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a slow-moving character piece.
Right.
Really, it's about basically there is a virus.
Yeah.
People are turning.
Arnold did this?
Arnold plays a Midwestern farmer, kind of grizzled face.
Holy shit.
His daughter contracts the disease, and when you have the disease, if you get to a certain point, they ship you off to like a center to take you out. Right? He doesn't want to do that. Now you think he's going to break out with a 50 caliber machine gun?
Right.
Not really.
Right.
It's really low key. It's moody. It's slow. It's not an Arnold movie. It's a different script, and his whole thing is to keep his daughter until she dies, and he'll take care of it.
Okay.
And worse, no real gore. It's just a mood piece, but it's an interesting approach.
Gotcha.
The other one that's kind of interesting and unique is a film called Collapse. Collapse. To watch the movie, it's very pedestrian. Farmer has a farm, goes into town, Mank's going to take his farm. Goes back to his farm, whatever. He thinks he sees a zombie on the property. He kills him. His son gets bit. He's got the son locked in thing. Then it turns into a very pedestrian zombie thing. Going to the next town, the workers running into town. And you're going to say to yourself, why is this? Okay, whatever. And the only thing I think it makes even interesting is that this could be another farm in Night of the Living Dead, or a Herschel's neighbor, or some guy going through a similar story.
Right.
But almost about 80% through the movie, as you're watching this rather pedestrian film and going, why am I wasting my time on this? All of a sudden it makes this radical left turn, and you go, holy shit, that's what's happening? You gotta see it.
Which one's this?
This is called Collapse.
Collapse. Okay.
Finally, boom, we're gonna get up. World War Z. No, it's not World War Z, but I'll explain World War Z because that's gonna set up my favorite film of all time.
Okay.
Okay? If anybody's seen World War Z,
Yeah.
okay, which has its goods, bad, and it's not my favorite film because there's a lot of things that are just too tidy for me. But however, what I will say to you is that the way World War Z played out, that was not the original way it's supposed to end.
Right.
If you get a chance, anybody out there, Google World War Z original ending,
Okay.
and you will see a whole script that came out what it was supposed to end,
Okay.
how the film plays out.
Because it came out ending in a part 2 coming.
Yeah, but it didn't really end with a sequel. It
Right.
just kind of they found a cure.
Right.
But there are two things that happen in the film that make no sense in the advertising.
Okay.
When they advertised the film, there was a poster that shows Brad Pitt looking out of a window, out of the back of a plane, and there's the Kremlin.
Okay.
He's never in Russia in the film.
Right.
There's also, if you notice, when he's rescued from the rooftop of Newark, which happens every day in Newark, actually, but when he's rescued from the rooftop in Newark, right, an actor gets off the plane, who's in charge of the team.
Yeah.
It's Matthew Fox, the guy who played Jack on Lost.
Okay.
And he's only in the film for these few seconds.
Right.
And you never see him again. Yet he has a credit at the end of the film. All right, well, if you go to World War Z, original ending,
Right.
you'll see where all that played out, where these characters and poster come from. And it's a far more exciting film.
Okay.
But I want to tell you about it, but just check that out. Which brings us to my favorite zombie film that I've seen in a few years. I'm thinking about showing it again at the restaurant here on Sunday in the afternoon. We got nothing to do. 10-foot screen. Well, if you notice in World War Z, there's one sequence where he goes to Korea.
Okay.
And they see this is where Patient Zero came from. That's where Patient Zero came from in this whole infestation. Korea. In Korea. So that sets up this other film. And it's called Train to Busan. Train to Busan, okay, why? It takes place in Korea. It's a Korean film, number one. Number two, the zombies reanimate just like World War Z. And they also have this ant-hill mentality, climbing over each other. Crazy, insane shit, right?
Right.
And the great thing about Train to Busan, something happens in the beginning that sets it up. You then get your character introduction, meet your characters, they get on train. As you're leaving the station, you see something out of your corner eye, go, that is good. And all of a sudden, it kicks into high gear. And they literally hit that throttle, and it goes into real time.
Okay.
And it is non-stop white knuckle.
And it's called Train to
Busan.
Busan. Train
It
to
is just
Busan.
no white knuckle. Everybody I've shown this film to, they go, they're sitting there watching, going, "Oh shit! Oh god! Oh my god!" But it's just that high impact. That's awesome. And those are my recommendations. I'll have them up on my page on Facebook,
Right.
posters and stuff. You can take a look at them. There's something you can rent, watch on streaming if you like the zombie genre. Recommend them highly, or buy them as gifts for your friends for the holidays.
There you go, guys. So go if you want to go follow Dan on Facebook, and he's going to post all these movies for you guys to go and check out. If you want to, listen more about them or check them out yourselves, it's Daniel Brown. It'll be listed as the Warehouse owner. That'll be his page, and he'll have. I think you just posted a nice black and white photo of you, right?
That's me, yes.
So that'll be a black and white photo of Dan, beard and all, and the hat and everything.
And I'll also be I have another page out there called Cheese Whiz Theater.
Okay.
That I haven't put something up in a while, but I put it on that one as well. I put up like weird pop culture and movie things up on there and anecdotes. So
Awesome.
check that out. It's CHEEZ Whiz.
Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz Theater. Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it for tonight.
Shaun of the Dead is Shaun of the Dead is
Yeah.
one. Juan of the Dead is good. There's many more I can go into. Juan of the Dead is Cuban zombie film. It's a comedy like Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
You know what I think also deserves mention?
Danny Dyer is a prick. I love it.
I Am Legend. I loved I Am Legend.
I liked I Am Legend too.
I liked the director's
but that
cut.
wasn't a zombie. I don't think it was really.
It was like
zombies.
zombies / vampires.
No, it's a vampire film.
Yeah.
It's a vampire. They misidentify a lot of things. Not that I'm, but they,
I don't know. It
Because
seemed
he was-
more like a hybrid to me. I don't know. It seemed
Yeah.
more like half vampires, half zombies. Like,
Superhuman
Well, see, in the,
too.
ori-
Like,
see, in the,
superhuman
in the
strength.
original film, as a matter of fact, speaking of which, Night of the Living Dead, the original story, I Am Legend, was an inspiration for George Romero, as was another film called Invisible Invaders. Invisible Invaders, if you watch the original Night of the Living Dead, they mention how a space shuttle came back, and it might be an alien infestation that made the people come back to life.
Right.
But he was inspired. He's the first one to say he ripped off Richard Matheson in I Am Legend about somebody locking themselves in their house and people trying to break in.
Yep.
And that was a big inspiration for him. Speaking of which, I just saw Night of the Living Dead down at the Film Forum. They did a big 4K restoration.
Oh.
John Russo, the writer, had a negative. It had always been in the Museum of Art.
Okay.
They took the original negative, and George Lucas Foundation, one of the George Lucas's foundations, Martin Scorsese got behind it, and they restored it. Let me tell you, man. They didn't clean it up. They didn't like there's like a famous jump cut in there. They didn't fix that. They cleaned it up a little bit, and they basically worked on the sound, which was far better. The music and the sound effects. But let me tell you something. You're sitting there. I watched it. I was mesmerized watching it, black and white. You could see like the stitching on a doily on the couch. You could see like wood grain in a mantelpiece in the back you've never seen before. I mean, it was just 3D, stunning. It was probably going to come out on Criterion disc at some point because it's been released by Janus Films.
Okay.
But George was able to see that fortunately before he passed away and was able to get that. So
That's awesome.
he had some happy endings.
For him. Everybody, we will be back next week. We're not sure what we're going to have or who we're going to have yet, but we'll be back next week. Go follow this man. You can, I'll say you can even hit him up on Facebook Messenger if you want to like pick his brain a little bit more. If he's got some time, I know Dan's
I love
always
answering questions.
down to talk and hang out and
I'm
whatever.
lonely.
Yeah.
We could even go to his page and copy the URL and maybe put a tweet out there and just kind of like get that link out there.
Yeah.
Or actually give him the URL for Cheese Whiz Theater. I mean, that's even better because that's more about like my movie page.
So we'll do that.
And everything from why anything from why does Sam Raimi use the word fake shemps
Right.
to whatever. I think I did a thing about Train to Busan. There's a review for Train to Busan on there as well.
And they'll be able to see your list of zombie movies on it too?
I'm going to be posting those 12 zombies.
Okay.
I'll put some other ones in there,
Cool.
and maybe I'll put some links to different things on YouTube for them. I'll be
All right.
posting
So
some
what we'll do is we're gonna share that link with you guys, and you guys can check out all these movies if you're interested in everything.
You guys got your homework?
Yeah, you got your homework to do. Hercules, I did see you wanted a shirt. We'll talk about that on the side. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us for an hour and a half. I know it's really late over there in London, and it's really late over there in France, and it's
We've
really
got
late.
Danny Dyer, and he's a prick.
Yeah, Danny Dyer is a prick. Marissa, Tiff, Sharon, Gay, Lucy, Hercules, Linda. Guys, we love you.
It was nice meeting you all.
Dan says thank you, of course. Check this dude out. He knows pretty much anything you want to know about the zombie genre.
And if you guys randomly find yourselves in
Lovely Newburg,
the Hudson Valley region of New York State,
Yeah.
make sure you come to
Debs.
119 Liberty Street, Newburg, New York.
Yep. Come to the
Warehouse.
warehouse. Check it out. You guys won't be disappointed.
Dude, amazing food.
That's right. Later, guys. Good
Later.
night. Thank you. Peace out.
All right.
There's always an awkward, like,
That was fun.
and hold on. There we go.
Thank you.
Live control.
Hope I didn't talk too much.
No, that's what we need.
Oh, good. Need to see somebody.